Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm John. Today I'm going to share with you how to build up an animation morphing between the bottle and the can by using geometry nodes fill workflow. So first, we need to start by drawing the curved line for the bottle and the can. So delete everything in the 3D viewport. Press numpad 1 to see the front view. Then import the reference image. So I have put the reference image and the project file in the description below. Please download it and follow along the tutorial. Okay, then let's reduce the opacity of the reference image so that we are easy to see. Add a plane, go into edit mode, press M and merge all the vertices at center. And now we need to trace the line. So to make the animation looks interesting, I want to draw the can end and the can body separately. And we need to draw the line starting from the top all the way to the bottom. Press G to move the vertices. Press E to extrude. So to make our vertices stick at the center, press N to toggle the transform panel. In the x-axis here, put 0. So we need to make sure our vertices is stick at the center. Okay, then I want to bevel the edge of the line. So select the edge and press Shift Ctrl B. Then I think we can increase the segment so that it looks nicer. Okay, then exit the edit mode, add another plane, go into edit mode again, merge all vertices at the center. Then we can start drawing the can body. So again, make sure you put 0 for the x-axis to make sure these vertices stick at the center. Okay, then we need to bevel the edge here. Okay, then exit edit mode. Name this can body. And this one can end. Then put them into a collection. Name it can, press OK. Then hide the collection and we can start drawing the bottle. Let's select the reference image. Go to the object data properties. Change the image to bottle. So again, we need to trace the line and we need to draw the bottle cap and the bottle separately. And we need to draw the line starting from the top all the way to the bottom. So add a plane again. Go into edit mode, merge all vertices and start trace the line. Again, we need to make sure these vertices is stick at the center. So put 0 for the vertex for x-axis. Then we need to bevel the line. Exit the edit mode. Then again add another plane. Go into edit mode again. Merge all vertices. Then we can start drawing the bottle. Again, make sure these vertices stick at the center. Then we need to bevel the line. Okay, then exit edit mode. Name this bottle. And this one bottle cap. Then put them into a collection. Name it bottle again. And now we can remove the reference image and hide the can collection. Make the can smaller and align it with the bottom part of the bottle. Then press Ctrl A, apply the location, Ctrl A again, apply the scale. Hide both of the collection for now. Okay, next, in order to get a smooth looking morph animation, we need to have the same amount of vertices for the bottle and the can. So to do it, let's add a cube, name it Morph Animation. Go to Geometry Node Editor, add a new Geometry Node, pin it, add Object Info node. Select the bottle, connect it to Group Output. Then we need to convert the mesh line to curve. Then to make the number of vertices for the can and the bottle to be same, we need to resample the curve. And now we can see the line is low poly. Let's increase the resample count to 200 maybe. So here we can see currently we have a total of 200 control points on the line. This is because we set our resample curve to 200 and now we need to get the same amount of control point for the can. So to do it, let's duplicate all these nodes. In the object info, change the object to can body, then connect it to the group output. So now, if we check the spreadsheet, we have 200 control points for the can as well. So to make sure the number of vertices for the can and the bottle is always same, we can add an integer node and connect to both of the resample curve node. Put 200 for the integer. And now we can start to morph both of the line. So to do it, connect the resample curve of the bottle to the group output. Add a set position node before the group output. Then add a mix RGB node. Connect it to the position. Then we need to transfer the position of all the points for the can and the bottle to the mix RGB. So let's add a position node. Add a transfer attribute. Change the mapping to index. Press Ctrl+Shift+D to duplicate it. Connect the curve of the can and the bottle to the source. Then connect both of the attribute to mix. I think we can hide both of the transfer attribute for now. Then if we play with the Effector, we can see the line is morphed between each other. Okay, next, when the transition happens, instead of moving all the points at the same time, I want to add an effector to control the position of the point so that we can control whether we want to start the transition from the top or the bottom. Okay, now let's select all these nodes, frame them and name it Morph Animation. So to do it, in the 3D viewport, add empty cube, name it Effector, drag it into the Geometry Node Editor. Then we need to get the position of all the points. Then we need to add position of all the points and the location of the effector together, connect it to the factor in Mix RGB. Then I also want the scale of the effector to affect the animation. Then I only want the effector to function in Z-axis direction. Now if we move the effector, we can see it start working. But the effect is going to the opposite direction. When we move the effector up, the line is go down. And when we move the effector down, the line is go up. So to fix it, let's change this operation from add to subtract. Okay, we fix it. Okay, now let's frame all the nodes here. Name it Effector. Let's put the Effector section under the Morph Animation. Next, we can start to convert the curve line to mesh. So to do it, let's add a curve to mesh node after the resample curve. Connect the resample curve to profile curve. Then add a curve circle to the curve. I think we can mute all these nodes for now. Then add transform node before the profile curve. Turn the x-axis 90 degrees and the y-axis 180 degrees. Then press H to hide the transform node. Reduce the radius of the curve circle to 0.001. Make it super small. And now we need to do the same thing for the can. So duplicate 3 of these nodes. Put the curve to mesh node after the resample curve. Connect the resample curve to profile curve. Connect the curve circle to the curve. Then put the transform after the resample curve. Then select all these nodes. Press Ctrl G to group them. Press Tab to go back to the parent node tree. Then press F2 and name it Can Body. So for this one, before we group them, let's take the curve to mesh node and connect it to the transfer attribute. Then select them and group them. Again, press Tab to go back to the parent node tree. Press F2 and name it Border. Then we can rename this integer to amount of vertices. You can put whatever name you like. Okay, now we can unmute the node here. Then let's check the result. I think we can make the cube bigger so that the transition looks better. Move the controller again to check the result. Okay, everything looks good. We can start keyframe the effector. Let's go to the timeline. Then I want to animate it move from the top to the bottom. Drag time indicator to 0. Put 2 for Z-axis. Add a keyframe. Go to around frame 50. Move the effector to the bottom and add another keyframe. Play the animation to check the result. Okay, looks good for me. Then next, when the transition happens, I want the mesh that touched by the effector to move outward. So to do it, we need a set position. Let's duplicate this one. Press Alternate P to unframe it. And then we need to get the normal of the mesh. Then we need to scale the position of the mesh that touched by the effector. Change the operation to scale. And now I want the effector to control the scale here. So let's connect the effector to the scale. And now if we move the effector, we will see the effector is start affect the position of the mesh, but the shape is weird. So to fix it, let's add a float curve after the separate XYZ. Then manipulate the float curve to get the shape you want. Just make sure to start the curve at 0 and end at the 0 as well. Okay, now let's group all these nodes. Press Tab to go back to the parent node tree. Then press F2 and name it Transition Effect. Okay, next, I want to add some delay effect to the transition. So to do it, all we need to do is to repeat the transition effect again and delay the timing. So let's duplicate the transition effect. Then remember to apply single user copy. Then rename this delay effect. So to delay the animation, let's connect the separate XYZ from effector section to the value here. Then add a math node. Change the function to subtract. So if you want to advance the timing, you need to use add. But now we want to delay the timing, so we need to use subtract. Then we can adjust this value to get the timing we want. Let's put 0.8 maybe. I think we need to move the effector lower at the last frame. Play the animation to check the result. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, next, we need to add the bottle cap. So to do it, let's add a join geometry before the group output. Then go to the starting point of the node tree, duplicate the can body, and connect it to the join geometry. Rename it bottle cap. Then remember to apply single user copy. Then press Tab to go into the node group. Go to the object info, change the object to bottle cap. Drag the timeline back to 0. We want to see the bottle. Okay, now we need to animate the bottle cap. We want the bottle cap to move up, then rotate and go down again and disappear. So to do it, in the geometry node editor, press Tab again to back to the parent node tree. Okay, before we animate it, we need to move the origin point of the cap to align with the cap. So currently, the origin point of the bottle cap is here. So to do it, turn on the X-ray mode, press numpad 1 to see the front view. Let's add a transform node. Adjust the Z-axis until the cap aligns with the origin. Then rename this transform node to Morph Origin. Then we need to move the bottle cap back to the correct position. Name this correct position. Put 1.9 for the Z-axis. Let's select two of these transform nodes and press H to hide them. Okay, now to animate the position of the bottle cap, we need a translate instance. And now we have an error because our bottle cap is not an instant object. So to fix it, we need to add geometry to instant node, put it before the correct position. Okay, now I want the bottle cap moved in Z-axis direction. So let's add a combine XYZ. Then I want the effector to affect the position. So go to the effector section, grab the separate XYZ Z-axis and connect it to the combine XYZ Z-axis. Let's move the effector to see the result. We can see when we move the effector downward, the bottle cap is keep going up. This is not what we want. We want it to go up, then go down and disappear. So to move it up and down, we need a float curve. Then manipulate the curve. We need it to go from 0 to 1, then go back to the bottom again. Okay, let's play the animation to see the result. So we can see we have a problem. When the cap moving down, it will stop at here. The reason is because currently the float curve is go from 0 to 1 and back to 0. So here is the position of 0. So it's stopping here. But this is not what we want. We want it to continue dropping. I want it to drop into the can. So that means we need to end the curve with a minus value. So let's change the minimum y-axis to -2. Then reset the view. Drag this point to -2. Then extend horizontal. Okay, now we fix it. Okay, next we need to animate the scale as well. So to do it, add a scale instance after the translate instance. Then duplicate the float curve, connect it to scale. Then we need the effector to affect the scale as well. So hold shift, then right click and drag to add a reroute point, then connect it to the float curve. Then for the scale, I want the scale to start at the original size, then scale up a little bit, then scale down to 0. So let's change the minimum y to 0 and maximum to 2. Reset the curve. Select the first point, set it to 1, which is the original size of the bottle cap. Select the second point, set it to 0, which means it will scale down to 0 and disappear at the end of the animation. Add a point in the middle and set it to 1.2 maybe. That means the bottle cap will scale up to 1.2 before it scale down to 0 and disappear. Okay, then for the rotation, let's add a rotate instance after the scale instance. Then we need the effector to affect this as well. So again, hold shift, right click and drag to add a reroute point. Connect it to the rotate instance. Okay, then I want the bottle cap to rotate for a few rounds before disappear. So to do it, let's add a map range before the rotate instance. Change the to max to 8 maybe. You can experiment with this value. Then I only want it to rotate in x-axis. Everything looks good for me. So now let's group all these nodes. Press tab to go back to the parent node 3. Then press F2 and name it bottle cap animation. Okay, next we need to animate the can end. So when after the bottle cap drop into the can and disappear, at the same time I want the can end to scale up and rotate. So this is very simple. Let's select the bottle cap animation, then press Ctrl+Shift+D to duplicate it, rename it Can End Animation. And remember to apply single user copy, then connect it to join geometry. Then select the Can End Animation, press Tab to go into node group, go to the Bottlecap node group, press F2 and name it Can End. Apply single user copy, press tab again to go into the node group, go to the object info, change the object to Can End. Press tab again to go back to the animation section for the Can End. Then we can delete the move origin and correct position. The Can End is already at the correct position and aligned with the origin. And now we can see the Can End is appear here, but this is not what we want. It shouldn't appear now. It should appear after the bottle cap disappear. So to make it appear after the bottle cap disappear, we have to delay the animation time and flip the animation. Which means for the bottle cap, the animation is scaled up from the original size to slightly bigger, then scale down to 0 and disappear. And for the Can End, it needs to be scaled up from 0 to a bigger size and end the animation with the original size. So to flip the animation, let's add a math node before the float curve. Then multiply -1 to flip it. Okay, then we need to add another math node to delay the animation. So now everything looks good for me. So you can experiment with this value to get the delay time you want. Next, we can start to add material onto it. Okay, so unpin the node, select our object, turn off the X-ray mode, go to Material Properties tab and add 3 material. Name this Bottle Cap, name this Can End, and this one Can Body and Bottle. Then in the Geometry node, press Tab to go back to the parent node 3, add Set Material before the Join Geometry. Then turn on Render Preview, select the Bottle Cap material, go to the Shader Editor, press Home button to see the node, drag the timeline to 0, change the base color to gray color. By the way, you can choose any color you like. Then for the Can End material, let's put a darker gray color. Then for the can body and the bottle, I want to mask the material. So let's add a mix shader. Duplicate the principal node and connect it to the second shader. Let's put 2 different colors for the base color. Just simply put a color for now. Add a color ramp and connect it to the Effector. Then add a gradient texture and connect it to the color ramp. Select the gradient texture and press Ctrl T. Now the gradient color here is really soft. I want to make it sharper. So to do it, let's go to the color ramp, change this to constant, then adjust the position. Okay, then I want to add an effector to mask the material. Name it Mask Shader Effector. Then in the shader editor, go to the texture coordinate, connect the object to vector. Then in the object column, select Mask Shader Effector. Okay, now I want the material to start masking from top to the bottom. So select the Mask Shader Effector, rotate it 90 degrees in Y-axis. Okay, then let's add keyframe for the mask shader. Okay, then play the animation to check the result. I think the transition here is too flat. Let's add some noise texture onto it. Let's add a mix RGB node before the mapping. Add a noise texture and connect it to mix RGB. Let's reduce the scale. Reduce the detail to 0. You can play around with this value to get the result you want. Don't have to follow me. Okay, now I want to add UV map onto it. So to do it, let's go back to the geometry node editor. Go into the bottle node group. Press tab to go into it. Add capture attribute after the curved circle and the transform node. We need to capture the spline parameter of the curved circle and the curved line of the bottle. So let's add a spline parameter. Then add a combine XYZ. Connect both of the attribute to the combine XYZ. Then connect the vector to group output. Press tab again to go out to parent node 3. Grab this vector and connect it to group output. Then go to the modifier properties tab in the object attribute. Let's name the attribute UV map. You can put whatever name you like. Then go back to the shader editor. Drag the timeline back to 0. Press home button to see the node. Let's add an image texture node and connect to base color. Select the image texture node and press Ctrl T. So here, instead of using a texture coordinate, we need to use an attribute node because we need to get the attribute from geometry node. Copy this attribute and paste it here, then connect it to the vector. Okay, then let's add the texture. Press numpad 1 to see the front view. Adjust the mapping to put the image in the correct position. Just to remember, this is not the normal UV mapping we used to do. We can't even make the UV envelope in this case. Then I think we can increase the metallic to 0.5 maybe, and the roughness to 0.3 so that it looks nicer. So for the material of the can, let's delete this principal node. Duplicate 4 of this node. Connect this principal node to the mix shader. Remember to apply single user copy. Change the image. Then again, we can now adjust the mapping. And now, not sure if you notice, there are weird lines here. The reason is because of the low resolution of the curved circle we added just now when we convert the curve to mesh. So to fix this, go back to the geometry node editor. Go into the can body node group. Then we need to increase the resolution of the curved circle for both the bottle and the can body. So to do it, drag the resolution to the group input. Then press tab to go to parent node 3. Then select the bottle node group. Press tab to go into the node group. Drag the resolution to the group input as well. Again, press tab to go out. Then duplicate this integer node, connect it to the resolution. Increase the number to 400 maybe. Play the animation and we done it. So if you like my video, please subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye.